My daughter wouldn't be worried about this rain at all. She'd just be giving her inspiration right there.
Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Hi everybody and welcome to today's video. My name is Matt and this is What Matters to Matt. Now on today's video, what I want to talk to you about is the Garmin Advanced Marathon Training Program. If you haven't watched any of my previous videos, I talk about it up here on exactly why I chose this program, but today specifically I want to go over that first week that I had with the Advanced Training Program. I'm not going to go over every single run that I did because I don't want to bore you with all of the easy stuff. What I do want to do is go over exactly what Garmin suggested I do for the week, and then just give you a couple of highlights, a couple of the high points for me on that week, and also maybe just one thing that I wasn't so keen on, or at least one thing that I changed up a little bit for myself in that first week of the Garmin Advanced Marathon Training Program. By the way, if you are new to my channel and you think you're gonna like some of my content, head on over to my channel and check out some of my other videos. If there's anything there at all you think you will like, give me a subscribe, give me a like on this video, and comment in the comment section down below. Is there a marathon training program that you are currently doing? Is there one that you're excited about, and why? I'd love to hear from you. I'm always curious about what others out there are doing, and I'd love to start up that conversation on what sort of marathon program or what sort of training you're doing in general when it comes to any sort of endurance event. I'm excited to hear from you. Comment in the comment section down below. So now that we're on the computer, let's have a look at the first day of this training plan. And it starts off with a nice easy run, easy pace, 30 minutes with a cool down of 5 to 10 minutes and a stretch. Now, one of the things I'll point out right off the bat here is that when they say easy pace, Garmin doesn't give you what that pace is. You have to determine that for yourself. Now, for me, what I actually did, and there's a few different websites that you can do this on, but you go on to one of these websites, and I'll be sure to put a couple of links down below on different ways or different websites where you can find out this information. But you go onto these sites and you plug in some previous race times, like marathon for me, or a half marathon, 5K, 10K, whatever it might be, of times that you've run in a race before. And it's gonna spit out some information for you that when you're doing your workouts, what should your approximate threshold pace be, or your steady pace, marathon pace, easy pace, all that. Of course, that's just suggestions, but Garmin, since they don't actually do this for you in the actual program, you're gonna have to go in, if you want this information to be on your watch when you're out on your run, you're gonna have to go into your calendar, edit each one of those workouts, and actually add those paces to it. It doesn't take very long, and for me, I find it very, very useful when I'm out on the run for Garmin to actually give me that information. Others out there, not so much. They don't like having that information and like just going by feel. But for me, the more information, the better. So that's what I do. Let's get back to looking at that first week. Week one, day one. Again, there is a second workout on that day, and they have bodyweight exercises for 20 minutes. Now, I didn't actually do this one. We'll get into the adjustments that I made, that I mentioned at the first of the video, that I did make a couple of adjustments. The stuff beyond running is one of those adjustments, but we'll get into that when I talk about that. Week one, day 2A, there's another easy run listed here on the second day of the week. Same as first day, 30 minutes, easy pace, and then 5-10 minute cool down. And week one, day 2B, you have an intervals session. This is your first big workout of the plan. Start you off in week one, day 2. So they're not messing around when they come to actually doing some of this. But you start off with a warm up of 10 minutes, then you run at threshold pace for 5 minutes, recovery jog for 60 seconds, and you repeat that 5 times. Then you have a cool down of 5 to 10 minutes. Then on day 3, for me, that's Wednesday, there is cross training of 60 minutes. Focus on upper body and core. Then on week 1, day 4, there are 2 workouts again. You have this easy run scheduled here, and you have a threshold run scheduled here. That threshold run for day 4 is you run at an easy pace for 15 minutes, then you run at a threshold pace for 15 minutes, then an easy pace for 15 minutes, and then cool down 5 to 10 minutes and a stretch. Week 1, day 5, they've actually got that for me as a Friday. They have listed as swim or optional yoga rest day, or really anything you want to do here. For me, worked out to be that I needed a rest on that day, week 1 of the program. And then on Saturday, a fartlek run. And I was a big fan of seeing this in the schedule, but quite honestly, this was the one run that I didn't get in. We'll talk about that in a sec again. I didn't get this run in, but the fartlek run is run at an easy pace for 10 minutes and then run varying intensity throughout workout 40 minutes. Push yourself to 90% effort on hills and then run at an easy pace for 10 minutes and a cool down 5 to 10 minutes and a stretch. Now, I will say though, in fartleks, what I do like about this run on this schedule is that where it has you run at a varying intensity throughout the workout for 40 minutes, they're not giving you actual targets. And there's been some programs out there, a couple of them that I've tried out, where they give you closer to targets. They'll say, run at a high intensity for X number of minutes and then ease off and slow down. And you kind of lose some of the essence or some of the most important parts to a fartlek, which is just speed play. If you haven't watched any videos on fartleks, go check some of them out. It's some of the most fun that I have when I'm out there running. But it's just telling you to run at various intensities for 40 minutes. So find a tree, find a lamppost, find something to run hard to, and then slow down, and then speed up on hills, slow down. Do whatever you want to do. Make it into a workout. You do you. That's what a fartlek's about. So I like the way that they formatted this on this program. And then Sunday, you have, or the last day of the week, the 7th day, you have a long run. Run easy pace for 90 minutes and run off-road if possible. Cool down 5 to 10 minutes. I love this run off-road if possible. Something that I'm going to be talking about in a lot of my other videos is just maybe some of the importance of not keeping everything on the road even when you're marathon training for a road marathon. Whole nother video, not going to get into that today. But that is the week 1 in terms of what Garmin has in store for you. Now let's go over exactly what I did on week 1, some of the highlights, and then a couple of the dislikes for that week. So now that we've covered off what Garmin says I should have done for that first week, I want to go over just maybe a couple of the totals that I had on that week, and then go into just 1 or 2 highlights on what I really liked about that first week and an adjustment that I made on that. Again, I'm not going to bore you with every single run on that week. You don't need to hear about all my easy runs. If you do want to hear about, or you are more interested about some of the specific stats on my day-to-day, I'll put a link to my Strava in the description down below. Follow me along on Strava. I'll follow you back. Love seeing what other runners out there are doing. But let's have a look at my first week in terms of the totals that I have for that week. I had a total of 13 activities. Now that's broken down into 2 things. That's 9 runs and then 4 strength training sessions. 4 strength training sessions were not listed in the Garmin Advanced Plan for that first week. So that's what I'll get into in a sec in terms of adjustments that I've made. But I did do a total of 9 runs with 58.91 kilometers as a total distance of those runs. Now that is actually a couple more runs than Garmin had on the plan. I am currently helping my daughter train for a Couch to 5K plan where we're actually doing a few runs. I've incorporated them into this plan a bit, and one of the first things I want to talk about in terms of things that really stood out for me on this week that I like is the double run days. Now when I was searching for a marathon plan, I knew I was going to be doing some double run days simply because I was helping my daughter out with that training that she was doing separately from this. So it was really interesting to me when I saw that there were some double run days, and also that the second run or the first run, depending upon which one you did first, was your easy run, and it was only about 30 minutes. As an example, the other day we went out on a run. It was a 25-minute easy run that I did with her. Then I just tack on an extra 5 minutes for myself at the end of that run. That becomes my easy run worked into my plan. Where I did a couple more runs than what Garmin suggested was, well, I just went out and did a couple more runs with her. But so far, one of the highlights that I've had on the program is double run days. I didn't know whether that was something I was going to like. I didn't know whether that was something that I was going to be able to keep up with, but I'm loving that so far. I find that you're able to just add a little bit of extra mileage to your overall mileage for the week, pretty easily by doing these easy runs to add on to that. Now, there are some plans out there that actually have 2 hard workouts done the same day as your double run days. For me, that might be a little bit too much at this point, but it's something that I'm interested in. And the second thing that I want to talk about in terms of highlights in that first week of the Garmin Advanced Marathon plan is the threshold run. Now, I actually did the threshold run on the Saturday, and I did a whole nother video kind of around this run. It was on motivation, actually getting up and doing the runs that were on plan, and I'll link that up here, up above. Secretly, one of the things that I talk about in that plan in terms of keeping motivation is having a plan in place so you know when you roll up, you get out of bed, regardless of whether you're really feeling it or not. If you've got something on the schedule, you just go do it. For me, that threshold run, a little bit of a secret here, actually happened on a Saturday when it should have happened on the Thursday. Yes, I moved that run around. Why did I move that run? On Wednesday night, late Wednesday night, I had some family fly in from away. We were up super late. Thursday, I was just too tired to actually get out there and do that run, so I didn't get that done on the Thursday. I moved it to Saturday, which meant I had to choose between the threshold run on Saturday or the scheduled fartlek run on Saturday. I decided on the threshold run, just because I felt like it was a more important run for me in the week. And I had done a couple of extra runs with my daughter as part of her Couch to 5K plan, which is a lot of run walk, which kind of felt like fartlek runs anyways. So I felt like it was more appropriate to do that threshold run. But that was another highlight for me because I had done some interval sessions in my previous training block, but I hadn't done a lot of threshold runs. And getting out there in the rain, it was an incredibly rainy morning. I just had so much fun on that run. So I consider that to be one of the highlights of the week for me, the threshold run that I did Saturday morning. Now that we've gone over exactly what Garmin had in store for me in terms of running for that first week of the marathon training plan, and we've gone over a couple of the highlights that I had in that first week, I want to talk to you for just a second about one of the adjustments that I made in the first week of that plan, and it comes down to some of the other training beyond running. Specifically the strength training. For me, strength training is really, really important in terms of keeping myself healthy and injury-free throughout any marathon training block or throughout any running block. And I think it was really, really important to me and really helped me when I trained for my first marathon that I was able to keep some focus on my strength training. Now, my strength training, my time in the gym lifting weights probably looks a little bit different than some other runners. I am a huge fan of a push-pull legs routine. I find it's a good way for me to hit all of my body parts, and actually it's what I like to do in the gym, so it's what I do. What does push-pull legs mean? Well, that's 3 separate workouts. One day where I'm doing mostly push movements, that's chest, shoulders, and triceps. One day where I'm doing just pull movements, that's back and biceps, and one day where I'm really focusing on my legs. What are my rules around incorporating these workouts into the marathon training plan? The only real rule that I have is that the leg day that I have that I try to do once a week, I try to fit that into same day where I'm doing one of my harder runs. I'll do an interval session in the morning, a leg strength training session in the afternoon, and then my second run for that day, an easy run as a recovery run later on in the day. Why do I do that on that day? Well, if I'm going to be working out my legs and I'm going to be actually putting in the proper effort that I think you need to put into a leg workout, I don't want to do that on the day before a hard run day. And I honestly don't want to do that on the day after a hard run day because that, again, a little bit about recovery for me. So I like to stack both of those things, a hard run day and my leg workout on the same day. The other rules I have are all about flexibility. When it comes to my push workout and my pull workout, it's on whatever days of the week I can get them in. And if I have time, I will spend a 4th day of the gym where I do either a full body lifting session or I just do some stretching and recovery, lots of foam rolling, maybe some yoga, just to do a little bit of extra recovery. That seems to work into the program a little bit further into the training block. But that's it. For me, that's the one big change that I've made to this plan. I've kind of dropped the other stuff outside of the running in terms of what Garmin suggests, and I've incorporated what works for me when it comes to strength training. So that's the end of the video. My name is Matt, and this is What Matters to Matt. And what matters to me most is my family. I'll see you in the next one.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.